Hello everybody, welcome to Captain Vitus Game Reviews, a segment on the Captain Vitus Show where instead of reviewing a movie, I review a video game, tell you whether it's worth those ridiculous video game prices, and if I liked it or not. So yeah, today we're going to be talking about Hyrule Warriors for the Nintendo Wii U. Let's get it started, ha! So Hyrule Warriors is a game, more of a love child between Koei Tecmo and Nintendo. The guys got together and they were like, you know what would be awesome? If we took the characters and settings from the Zelda universe and mixed them with the gameplay of Dynasty Warriors. And that's what this game is. It's a mix of Zelda and Dynasty Warriors. Dynasty Warriors being a game I've never played until now. Kind of. So, in the vein of Dynasty Warriors, most of Hyrule Warriors gameplay, it's completely based in combat, and what you're doing is you're running it head-on into giant hordes of enemies, using combos and whatnot to hack and slash your way to victory. And your attacks consist of different moves. You can either use light attacks or strong attacks, and of course you can combine the two of them to make a combo, and combos are awesome, and I can't even tell you how exciting it is when you pull them off. And they're easy to pull off. That's a thing I was afraid of. I was afraid I wouldn't be able to get into this. I'm not great at like fighting game combos, you know, I mash when I'm playing Mortal Kombat. This game, it's not difficult, it's easy, but it's still satisfying. And along with that, you also, while you're playing, you have two different meters that you can fill up to do things with. The first of these meters being called the special attack gauge. Now when you fill this one up, and you fill it up by fighting a bunch of enemies and KOing all of them as you kill enemies, this meter fills up. When it gets to the top, you can press your A button and it will unleash a crazy special attack that will just devastate any horde of enemies, unless you're like me and at times you just accidentally get one of them in your rain and you're like, oh great, that was used. But yeah, it can unleash this crazy awesome special attack. Now the other one of the two is called your magic gauge, and to fill this one up, you have to find magic jars that'll be lying around the battlefield. Sometimes you'll have to cut down grass to find them, kill an enemy, what have you. You find these magic jars, you use them, your magic gauge fills up, and when that magic gauge fills up, you can use that to unlock what is called Focus Spirit, and where you turn that on, it's a limited time, and you are stronger, your attack power is a lot more powerful, your speed is increased, you take a lot less knockback damage, and if you kill a certain amount of enemies, you get some pretty cool bonuses with that. Also, if you are like me, and you didn't realize that until you were writing the script of this video, you can also use it to unleash a different special attack that is normally more devastating. Sometimes it's not, sometimes it is, it's based on your character. And another cool addition to your arsenal that you can get throughout the game is items, which you get throughout the game, whether it be bombs, potions, the boomerang, the bow and arrow, the hook shot. You find these items as you go through the game and you can use them to do things. Yeah! You know, you can use them to open a path that wasn't initially opened for you, like say there's a bunch of rocks, blow up the rocks. It's a bunch of weird hentai things, use your boomerang to cut them down. Then of course you can just use them to screw your enemies up. I can't even tell you how many times you run into a keep and there's a bunch of enemies and I'm just like, bombs, bombs. It's really fun. Not to mention, and I love this, they are unlimited use. So you don't have to be like, oh I ran out of bombs, I ran out of arrows. You can use these to your delight. It's just fine. Not to mention, like yourself, your items can get power-ups too. As you run around the battlefield, you just might come in contact with an item power-up, where you get that power-up and say I got one for the bomb. Now instead of throwing 3 or 4 measly bombs, I throw one giant bomb that leads to one giant explosion that leads to one big stupid grin on my face. Or say you get the hookshot power-up. You get that one. Normally with the hookshot, you just hookshot onto someone and you get up to them and you slash them. Now you get up to them, you point it to the sky, you pull down the moon from Majora's Mask on their ass. Yeah. And these power-ups are awesome. They do last for a limited time, but they're awesome. So that. All that being said, one of my biggest problems with this game is actually how you switch your items. Like, to switch your items, you see, I'll use this. You're moving with this stick, you switch your items with the D-pad, and now that doesn't sound like a big deal, but like, especially during the final boss, where it's required you're able to use all your items, you're going to have to stop, do all that. It's kind of a nuisance. It's in the way. It makes everything a little bit more difficult, and it really makes you gravitate towards one item. Like, I barely ever change my bombs unless I have to, just because, I don't know, I found that just to be difficult. Also, another thing every stage has to offer is throughout it, at one point randomly in the middle of the stage, what you're doing, a gold Skulltula will appear somewhere on the map. You'll see it on the map and you'll go find it. And I know I'm not the first to say this. This is an absolute pain in the ass. This is an absolute pain in the ass, and you know, you find the gold Skulltula, you kill it, you get a piece of artwork, which I guess you can also use to level up your bazaar, but it's just, it is so aggravating when you can't get it. It's not great. And another thing that's not great is actually your map. And the only reason I'm saying that is because your cursor you can barely ever see it. You can barely ever see it. There are times where a Skulltula will appear. I'll have to pause the game. Just to look at the map and actually plan a course of action. It can just be kind of confusing at times, which is bad because you need to rely on this thing a lot throughout the game, but it's just a little nuisance. And another great addition to this game, maybe even the best addition, is the ability to play as other characters. Normally in Zelda games you're just playing as Link. Now you get to play as up to 13 different characters, most of which are unlockable, most of which I haven't even unlocked yet. I was planning on unlocking them before I did this review, then I remembered Smash comes out on Friday, so I know if I don't do this now, it's not going to happen. So I haven't unlocked every character, but I can tell you from the characters I have unlocked, every character has their own unique playstyle that makes them special in their own right. And that's one of the absolute best parts of this game, is the fact no two characters are the same, so you're going to have a different experience with every character and every weapon. Some characters can have different weapons, like, say Link. Link is normally a shield and sword kind of guy, right? And that's super fun. I got the Master Sword, it's so much fun. But sometimes I want to play as Link, but I want a bit of a different playstyle. Look at that, I can use the gauntlets, and those are surprisingly fun. So you get to master all these different characters with their different moves, and you walk away just like, that was awesome! There's always something new, it keeps gameplay fresh. But of course, with any game in a roster, you're gonna walk away with characters you favorited and characters you never want to see again. Personally, and I was surprised by this, when I was watching the initial footage, I thought I was going to be maining Zelda throughout all of this. To my surprise, I dug Impa. I was absolutely phenomenal with Impa. Impa and Sheik, I think they're the fastest characters in the game. I'm good with fast characters, I main Sonic and Brawl. So those two were awesome, especially if you get Impa's second weapon. She normally has a giant she has a giant blade, which is awesome too, but Impa's awesome. She's awesome. So awesome that she might actually make it onto a list I have planned for October. And not to mention, I gotta give this girl some props. Lana. Lana is a character that was actually created for this game, and she's a sorceress. She has this book, she can turn mirrors on just the battlefield and use them to her advantage. She is also a ton of fun to play as. Oh my goodness! Her combos are probably my favorite in the game. They are so much fun to pull off. And I thought she was a really cool character too. I'd like to see her revisited in new Zelda games now. Maybe the new one. Maybe? I don't know. But then of course you have your characters that you're not huge on. I said I'm huge on speed, so Darunia was not really my cup of tea. I did kind of get used to him, but he's just not fast enough. In fact, Ganondorf wasn't even fast enough for me. I know a lot of people are going crazy about Ganondorf. Not exactly. I've heard Agatha is awful. I haven't unlocked her yet, but you know what I mean. But of course, with all these characters to choose from, Hyrule Warriors also lets us level up those characters and customize their abilities. And most of this happens at the Bazaar, which is basically kind of your item shop, kind of. And you can do a bunch of things there, the best of which is the badge market. Basically, if you collect materials as you kill enemies on the battlefield, you take those materials, you can turn them into badges. And badges can do a lot of things. They can increase your defense in certain areas. Some of the badges give you new combos. Those are the best ones. The Fierce Deity's Mask badge is awesome. It gives you a second special attack gauge, and if you're me with Link, you now have 3 special attack gauges, which is awesome. The badge system is really cool. I find it just Takes way too long to make badges though. Like it's just like, you need this foreign material you've never heard of, which is just like, but still, the idea that you can create and customize your characters is very exciting and very fun as you go along. Also at the Bazaar, you can visit what is called the Training Dojo, which basically, in exchange for rupees, you can level up your characters, but only to your highest leveled character. Like my highest leveled character right now is Link. I think he's at level 42. So, say I want to level up Impa, I can only level her up to level 42. This is a great way to just play catch-up. I wish Pokemon had something like this. It's just an easy way to play catch-up, so grinding is put down a lot. Also, there's the Apothecary, which, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't use once. I don't know if it improves your gameplay, it just seems... I wasn't huge on it, so let's skip that one. The Smithy! The Smithy is your final option, and in the Smithy, what you can do, each item you get, sometimes it'll come with like a little stat, like, oh, this one has XP up, you know, or this one has higher strength, and you can take that and fuse it into another weapon. You fuse these weapons together to get an overall stronger weapon. This was cool too, but I did find it was just, I didn't want to use it very much. It was just kind of there, and I used it when I had to, but once again, it's not like the badge market, where I was at the badge market every time I finished a level. This was a different story. And of course, upon arrival of booting up Hyrule Warriors, you have many different modes to choose from, but there's only really 2 of which that I think are awesome. Like, the other ones I'm not even going to talk about. The 2 ones that you're going to want to play, let's talk about those. The one you're probably going to gravitate towards immediately, I know I did, is Legend Mode, which is your main story quest. And now the story for Hyrule Warriors is okay. It's not great, but it's not awful. It's just okay. It's not really very well told. Basically, this evil witch named Sia, she has a hard-on for Link or something, so she becomes evil, and then she's all mad. She steals the Triforce, and she turns Hyrule into darkness and opens up portals to different, you know, timelines and Zelda. It's not great, but there are times where this shines. It shines greatly, and I'm sitting there like, this could be an awesome anime. This would be the anime I want to see. Like, I really like the beginning, and I like it when they introduce Lana. I like all these parts, but then there are times where it's just like, ugh, and it just doesn't work as well. So, you know, it's... While you do have the characters and settings of the Legend of Zelda universe, the magnificent stories that the Zelda universe is known for, that's not present here. But aside from that, it's fun as hell. Like, you have about 18 missions here, which is a bit short for my tastes. I did end up beating it in 2 days. But you have a bunch of missions. You can do the hero missions, and then there's one point where you get to play as the villains, which I wasn't nearly as huge on as everyone else is. I don't know why everyone has such a hard-on for playing as the villains. Then you, of course, have your final boss, and these are really fun. They're really exciting, and they're really all you can play when you go into free mode, so I hope you like them. Not to mention, I said a little while ago, Sia opens up these different portals to different spots in the Zelda timeline. So you actually get to play levels that are based off older Zelda games, like Ocarina of Time. You get Gerudo Valley, or in the Water Temple, which isn't awful. The Water Temple's not awful in this game. You get Skyward Sword levels. You get to play at Skyloft. I kind of like Skyward Sword. I think it's good. Then you get one of my personal favorite Zelda games. I think it's drastically underrated, Twilight Princess. You get to play Twilight Princess levels, and I love that game, so going to those levels, we're just like, yes, yes, yes. So Legend Mode is fun. It is short, though, so what's going to keep you coming back? What's going to keep you coming back to this game? I have your answer. It's called Adventure Mode. Adventure Mode. Or as the Completionist dubbed it, the Completionist Challenge from Hell is probably where you're going to be throwing a lot of your hours post-game. Ooh, hello. Basically, Adventure Mode throws you on the original map from the original Legend of Zelda game, and you do a bunch of different challenges to unlock different parts of the map. This is where you're going to unlock your 4 post-game characters. You're going to unlock different weapons here, heart pieces, gold Skulltulas again. I'm really glad I'm not a completionist because this sounded awful. And you know, Adventure Mode is really fun. It's aggravating at times, but it's still fun. I know this is what's going to keep me coming back now because you know, eventually I'm going to be like, I want to get to this part of the map or this part of the map, and you can unlock things, you know, you get item cards, like, oh, I got a bomb. I'm going to use the bomb on this rock, and oh, look, good thing, and then you beat the... It's fun. It's just hard and frustrating a lot. Now, in terms of graphics and visuals, Hyrule Warriors has me torn, because there are times, especially with the cutscenes, oh my god, where this game looks phenomenal. The cutscenes are like Final Fantasy quality, awesome cutscenes. They look fantastic. Then, sometimes the game just doesn't look so great. When you're playing, like, especially the bosses, especially King Dodongo, they just don't look great. They kind of look like something you'd find in a PlayStation game. Like, it's just like, you know. But then, the game completely shits the bed when you go into two-player mode. This game normally runs at a smooth 60 frames per second and it looks great. The second you hit two-player mode, which basically one player plays with the gamepad, the other player plays on the TV, it cuts those frames in half. In half! And I'm normally not a stickler for that, but it looks awful. This makes it look, on my HD TV, it makes it look like a great 3DS game. It makes it look like a game made for a screen this big. It's awful, and why I'm mad about it is I don't know why it happens. Because I have tons of games on the Wii U that utilize this function where one player's on the screen, one player is on the gamepad. It works fine. Look at Nintendo Land, that Zelda level, that's all you do. The guy with the arrows uses the gamepad and stuff, and it works fine. I don't know why this happens. I know what the Wii U is capable of, so this was a disappointment to me, and I really hope they maybe fix it in a patch or something. I don't know, it's just... this is not what the system is capable of. This is the first HD Nintendo system. It can do more than that. You should have done more than that. But then we have that one piece of excellence that is fantastic throughout the entire game. No complaints here. The music. The music, of course, it's awesome. A lot of it is, I'm pretty sure some of it is original. Some of it I haven't heard anywhere before, and that's awesome. But then there are remixes of just classic Zelda tunes, which just got me hyped out of my mind, because I think the Zelda series has the greatest video game music ever. That's one of my favorite things about Skyward Sword, is the fact it came with a CD with a bunch of orchestrated Zelda music, and I listened to that to get pumped up. When I used to go to work, I used to listen to like Symphony of the Goddess and stuff, and it was fantastic. And yeah, the music in this game is fantastic. You're probably sitting there thinking, oh, is it really? Well, you've been listening to it this entire review. Of course it is. It's fantastic. So in the end, Hyrule Warriors is not perfect. It's not a perfect game, but I'm gonna tell you, I was never not having fun with this game. Yeah, it had its minor annoyances, and it's repetitive. It's repetitive as shit, but I didn't care, because it's so much fun. It's so much fun to run into just hordes of enemies knowing you're going to be the last one standing. That's awesome to me. It's so much fun. I know I'm going to be coming back to it time and time again. And you know what? I think this has series power. I think we could get a sequel to this that would have fixed the issues. I would buy said sequel. I think it would be really cool. I really loved Hyrule Warriors, guys. I really liked it. As a Zelda fan too, this game is going to give you tons of fan service that you are just going to eat up just all the time. So if you're a fan of Zelda, if you have a Wii U, if you thought this game looked fun, you're probably right. Check this game out. I implore you, check this game out. Hyrule Warriors gets a B+ out of 10. Hey everybody, thank you so very much for watching my video review for Hyrule Warriors. I want to hear what you think. Have you played Hyrule Warriors? Are you going to play it? Are you going to skip it? Whatever your thoughts are, leave them in the comment section below, because I want to hear them. And as always, if you like this review, you should click that subscribe button, you should click that right like button, and you should definitely comment. I can't even tell you how much I love comments. That's not just me saying, like, comment, subscribe. I love comments. Comment. And most importantly, this is the most important thing you got to do for me. Stay classy. How long was that? Damn! Oh. Video game reviews are long, which is awful, because I also recorded like an hour or 3 of footage. This is going to be a fun day. I hope you enjoyed this review because it took me all day.